Good day. I'm Ms. Rosette Colleen D. Parungao from NAUST Gabaldon Campus College of Education. Today, I will be talking about one of the specializations of the English learning area, speech and stage arts, in preparation for the board licensure examination for professional teachers. Let's begin. So, I will just give you an overview of this presentation. This presentation consists of 3 parts. First, the introduction on the subject, objectives or competencies. Second, the discussion of the 50-item pretest answers. And last but not the least, examination tips for the upcoming licensure examination for teachers. So let us go over the objectives and competencies. While you're browsing over your notes, you might be asking yourself, where should I start in this subject? In speech and stage arts, you must review with the following objectives in mind. First, to demonstrate familiarity with the concepts of speech communication. Next, to describe the physiology of speech, the speech sounds, and the characteristics that determine the vocal personality. Third, to manifest understanding of the various types as well as the effective delivery of the speech arts. And last but not the least, to show knowledge of the conventions of play production. Okay, so now, let us begin with the discussion of the answers in the 50-item pretest. Number 1. To get the message across in speech communication, the speaker uses words and A. Personal journals, B. Non-linguistic symbols, C. Prosodic features, D. Body language. The correct answer is B. Non-linguistic symbols are also known as nonverbal symbols or paralanguage, such as facial expressions, voice quality, speaking style, and body language. Number 2. When sounds produced by the speaker do not become understandable speech, the problem is most likely the A. Resonators, B. Vibrators, C. Articulators, or D. Generators. The correct answer is C. Articulators help the speaker enunciate and emphasize speech sounds. Number 3. When a speaker has ample time to gather information and organize his ideas in an outline, and he or she wants to avoid reciting or reading the speech word for word, his or her preferred mode of delivery is A. Manuscript speaking, B. Extemporaneous, C. Impromptu, or D. Memorized. The correct answer is B. Extemporaneous. Extemporaneous speeches allows for the use of outlines or cue cards to guide the speaker in his or her speech. Number 4. On stage, when an actor needs to make a strong emotional impact to the audience, he or she must adjust body position to A. Full back, B. 3/4 turned away, C. 1/4 turned away, or D. Full front. The correct answer is D. The full front. Full front position of the actor to the audience is very strong. The greatest emotional contact with the audience comes from this position. This emotional contact diminishes as the body breaks its close contact with the audience. Number 5. The vocal folds vibrate at a high speed when these sounds are produced. A. N, M, V, B, P, K, T, C, F, S, Th, or D, H, S, T. The correct answer is letter A. Try to resonate the following sounds. N, v. You will feel a vibration in your vocal folds as you sound them out. When a person communicates, it's always, for number 6, A. Creative, B. Emphatic, C. Informative, D. Purposive. The correct answer is D. A person might be creative or not in terms of delivery, emphatic or not in terms of intention, informative or not in terms of content, but always purposive when he or she intends to convey a message. All types of communication has a direction, objective, and purpose. Number 7. In a classroom, when students work on a project that requires them to make a decision or solve a problem, they most likely engage in A. Group communication, B. Dyadic communication, C. Public communication, or D. Mass communication. The correct answer is A. Group communication allows students to enhance and exercise their problem-solving skills, collaborative skills, and critical thinking skills together with other students. Number 8. When we produce voiceless sounds, our vocal folds and the arytenoids are A. Pressed together, B. Held wide apart, C. Moved back and forth, or D. Contracted slowly. The correct answer is B. Try making the sounds P, F, and S. You will notice that your vocal folds and arytenoids are far from each other when sounding these out. Number 9. Good speakers use effectively a series of organs such as larynx, pharynx, mouth, and nasal passages to A. Expel air from the lungs, B. Modify the speech, C. Amplify the voice, or D. Vibrate the vocal cords. The correct answer is C. To amplify the voice. The aforementioned organs, when used together, helps the speaker modulate his or her voice as he or she speaks. Number 10. Speakers who use the same pitch or a limited pitch pattern when they speak and whose sound is interested and enthusiastic are A. Bilingual speakers, B. Monolingual speakers, C. Nasal speakers, or D. Monotone speakers. The correct answer is D. A monotone speaker speaks with a single monotonous pattern which makes the speech boring, uninteresting, and tiresome to watch. A speaker must be engaging, lively, and enthusiastic so as to sustain the interest of the audience. Number 11. To determine an appropriate topic for the speech, the speaker should know first A. The structure of the speech, B. The audience, C. The time frame, or D. The purpose of the speech. The correct answer is B. Knowing the age or social group in which the audience belongs to will help the speaker to choose an appropriate topic for them to be interested in the speech. The purpose of the speech will then be determined. The structure will be outlined and written, and the time frame will be considered thereafter during preparation and delivery. Number 12. To keep the audience's attention and to emphasize important ideas in the speech, speakers are advised to do any of the following except A. Change the volume of the voice, B. Vary the pitch of the voice, C. Adjust the rate of speech, or D. Make inaudible sounds. The correct answer is D. Making inaudible sounds will make the audience even more distracted and uninterested in the speech, while options A, B, and C are effective, time-tested, in sustaining the attention of the audience during speech delivery. Number 13. The best definition of rhetoric is A. The use of words to impart knowledge. B. A form of communication. C. The meanings that people attach to communication. Or D. A theory of communication that deals with political issues. The correct answer is B. Rhetoric is defined as a form of communication that influences our thoughts and actions. Number 14. If the president of an organization would like to make an oral presentation about the progress of a project, he or she will make a speech in which the main purpose is to A. Persuade, B. Inform, C. Entertain, D. Recommend. The correct answer is B. Data is intended to be presented in the given situation. Thus, the purpose of the presenter, which is the president of the organization, is to inform his or her audience. Number 15. In general, it is recommended that one speaks impromptu if he or she A. Can organize ideas in an outline, B. Can gather information about the topic, C. Has ample time to write the speech, D. Has general knowledge about the subject. The correct answer is D. Depending on the situation and circumstances, impromptu speech requires little to no thinking time before the speech delivery. Thus, it is important that the speaker has ample knowledge about the subject or topic. Number 16. When a speaker opts for a manuscript speaking, he or she should avoid A. Mechanical and monotonous reading, B. Eye contact with the audience, C. Pauses between group of words, or D. Variation in pitch. The correct answer is A because manuscript speeches already have a reputation of being boring and monotonous, simply because the speakers are known and seen to be reading the content, unlike extemporaneous, memorized, or impromptu, which shows the memory prowess of the speaker. Thus, during a manuscript speech, the speaker must show and make the audience feel that he or she is not simply reading through the text, but conveying its message, emotions, and purpose effectively. All of the following are descriptive of oral interpretation except A. The performer reads from a manuscript to an audience. B. The performer communicates a piece of literature to an audience. C. The performer conveys the emotional, intellectual, and aesthetic elements of a literary work to an audience. Or D. The performer expresses his opinions to an audience. The correct answer is D. From the word itself, interpretation, the performer's goal is to help the audience to understand the piece by translating words into visible actions, but not imposing his or her own beliefs and understanding to the audience. Number 18. It is generally accepted principle of oral interpretation that the reader communicates to the audience A. The penchant of the audience, B. The ideas and emotions of the reader himself or herself, C. The thoughts and emotions of the reader himself or herself, or D. The ideas and suggestions of the trainer. The correct answer is B. In relation to question 17, the reader or performer must embody the ideas and emotions of the piece through his or her performance. Number 19. In preparing a play, a class in dramatic arts will first A. Design costumes, B. Block the scenes, C. Choose a play, or D. Discuss roles. The correct answer is C. You will not be able to design costumes, block the scenes, and discuss roles without choosing a play first. Number 20. The knowledge of stage divisions is important in play productions because it A. Guides the blocking of scenes, B. Identifies the imaginary divisions of the stage, C. Provides the acting space of the actors, or D. Highlights the artistic concept of the director. The correct answer is A. Knowledge of stage divisions allows the playwright and actors to maximize each part of the stage that highlights the emotions and purpose of each scene. Number 21. A blank sound is produced with the complete obstruction of the vocal tract. When released, makes the air explode out of the mouth. A. Fricative, B. Plosive, C. Approximant, or D. Nasal. The correct answer is letter B. A plosive sound is produced with the complete obstruction of the vocal tract, which when released, makes the air explode out of the mouth. Meanwhile, for the other options, we have fricative. Like the stop, there is a constriction in the vocal tract by the articulators, but they do not make a complete closure. When the air passes through a very narrow opening, the air becomes a turbulent, producing a hiss-like friction. For the nasal, the sound is produced by the obstruction of the vocal tract and the lowering of the velum, which causes the airflow out of the nasal cavity rather than from the oral cavity. So, that would be all for the choices in item number 21. For item number 22, the blank sounds are produced with the tip or the blade of the tongue touching or brought near the alveolar ridge. Choices are A. Alveolar, B. Palato-alveolar, C. Velar, D. Palatal. So, what is the correct answer for number 22? For number 22, the correct answer is letter A. In terms of the place of articulation, alveolar sounds such as t, d, n, s, and z are produced with the tip or the blade of the tongue touching or brought near the alveolar ridge. Whereas for the palato-alveolar, sounds are produced with the tip or the blade of the tongue touching or nearly touching the hard palate, which is slightly behind the alveolar ridge. The term alveopalatal is sometimes used for this place of articulation. For the palatal sound, it involves the front of the tongue against or near the hard palate, such as in the production of j or the letter J. For the velar sounds such as k, g, are produced with the back of the tongue against or near the velum or the soft palate. The following are alveolar sounds except for item number 23. Letter A, N. B, Z. C, T. D, Th. The correct answer is D. Letter D, which is sound out as th or silent TH, is a dental sound. The tip of the tongue is placed against or near the teeth. Number 24. The traditional stage has three basic parts: the acting area, the apron, and the A. Arc, B. Backstage area, C. Frame, D. House area. So for this item, the correct answer is letter B. The apron is the area closest to the audience, which is in front, in actor's perspective. Whereas the acting area is the middle part between the apron and the backstage area. So, the correct answer is letter B, the backstage area. Number 25. The audience in A or an blank seats in three sides. Letter A, arena stage. B, traditional stage. C, proscenium arc. Or D, thrust stage. The correct answer is letter D, thrust stage. Open or thrust stage is defined as the type of stage wherein the audience sits on all four sides of the arena. The apron of the stage is extended, so the acting area is moved forward. Number 26. A speaker's voice is distinct from other voices because the general tone of the voice is known as A. Nasality, B. Quality, C. Loudness, or D. Hoarseness. The correct answer is letter B. The distinction of an individual's voice is defined or determined in terms of voice quality. It is the uniqueness of a person's voice. Number 27. U.S. President Joe Biden is reported to have consistently used a teleprompter when he delivers his speech. This shows that he prefers a mode of delivery which is A. Extemporaneous, B. Impromptu, C. Memorized, or D. Manuscript speaking. The correct answer is letter D. Manuscript speaking, or reading the speech word for word from its written form or the manuscript. Number 28. A good example of a speech to use in teaching persuasive speech is A. How to fight climate change. B. Stop charter change. C. The state of the nation. Or D. Myths about job hunting. The correct answer is B. A persuasive speech goes beyond informing the audience about a certain subject. It aims to reinforce or change the audience's beliefs. It works to make the listeners agree with the speaker and perhaps to act based on the speaker's recommendations. Thus, in this topic, the speaker asks the audience to stop charter change. Number 29. In speech preparation, knowing who would compose the audience can guide the speaker best in A. Determining the purpose of the speech. B. Gathering information for the speech. C. Choosing a topic for the speech. Or D. Making an outline for the speech. The correct answer is C. Knowing the age or social group in which the audience belongs to, will help the speaker to choose an appropriate topic for them to be interested in the speech. Number 30. The speaker can convey his interest in communicating with the audience through A. Dressing up for the occasion, B. Lowering the pitch of the voice, C. Making overly dramatic gesture, or D. Establishing eye contact. The correct answer is letter D. Establishing eye contact with the audience builds a rapport between them and the speaker. This gesture makes the audience feel that the speaker is not merely talking in front of them, but actually conversing with them. Number 31. Among the following statements is about how a speaker should manage his or her posture. The most accurate is A. The speaker should stand up straight but stay relaxed. B. The speaker should use purposive movements to emphasize ideas. C. The speaker should look neat and clean. D. The speaker should look at the audience when delivering a speech. The correct answer is letter B. Option A is more of the composure part in speaking, while C is about the physical appearance. Option D is about eye contact, but letter B is the best answer because it is a general reminder on how the speaker must do his or her nonverbal gestures, which can affect the delivery of his or her speech. Number 32. A student uses subtle dramatization and gestures in presenting a story. The student is doing a or an blank storytelling. A. Illustrative. B. Interpretative. C. Creative. D. Demonstrative. The correct answer is letter C. The storytelling is an oral sharing of a personal or a traditional story to an audience for the purpose of entertaining or educating them. It may be illustrative, one that uses illustration or drawings in presenting a story, creative or dramatic, or one that makes use of subtle dramatization, gestures, and creative movements in presenting a story. Number 33. In an oral interpretation activity, one student delivers a declamation with so much shouting and crying. These acts are examples of A. Histrionics, B. Monologue, C. Interpretation, or D. Technique. The correct answer is A. Declamation is a recitation of a poem for memory in which the delivery is marked by strong feelings but free from histrionics or theatrical actions and a deliberate performance. Materials used for declamation are poems which carry strong emotional appeal. Number 34. The best poems for declamation are the ones that A. Are popular to the audience, B. Convey lessons in life, C. Are easy to understand, D. Carry strong emotional appeal. So, as previously mentioned in item number 33, the correct answer is letter D. Poems used in declamation carry strong emotional appeal. Number 35. When members of a group recite as one in coordinated voices and related interpretation, they do A. Reader's theater, B. Chamber theater, C. Speech choir, or D. Dramatic monologue. The correct answer is letter C. Speech choir. Speech choir is variously called choral reading, choric interpretation, and vocal orchestration. It is an ensemble reading technique where a group of readers recite as one in coordinated voices and related interpretation. Chronic arrangements may be number one, reading in unison in which several voices sound like one instrument, each voice blending with one another. Or another, solo and chorus, in which a soloist recites aloud some lines and then followed immediately by the chorus that recites a refrain. Or third and last, responsive reading in which lines are recited alternately by a solo or chorus. Number 36. The group of people composed of the director, designers, actors, playwright, composer, and choreographer fulfill blank functions. A. Executive. B. Aesthetic. C. Business. Or D. Administrative. The correct answer is letter B. These people must work in coordination to bring the play to life through costumes, stage design, makeup, and props which are appropriate to the material or the play itself. Number 37. In giving directions to the actor as to their movements on stage, the director sees the stage in the perspective of the A. Audience, B. Actors, C. Designers, or D. Stage manager. The correct answer is B. It is always the perspective of the actors and how they see the audience, not the opposite. Number 38. If a scene is to convey humanity and kindness, the best part of the stage for the actors to use is A. Down left, B. Down right, C. Up right, or D. Up left. The correct answer is B, because the down right part of the stage is intimate, warm, and strong. This is excellent for love scenes and scenes of humanity and kindness. Number 39. A speaker puts the stress on the third syllable when he or she says the word inevitable. He or she has a problem with A. Pronunciation, B. Articulation, C. Persuasion, or D. Appropriation. The correct answer is A. Pronunciation refers to how a word should be said, how to say each sound in a word, and which syllable to stress. On the other hand, articulation is the way of producing vowel and consonant sounds and joining them to form words. A speaker has a problem in articulation if the audience does not understand clearly each word. Okay, let us go to item number 40. A speaker delivers a speech too fast for the audience to understand. This increases in the speaker's rate of speech is a manifestation of A. Breathiness, B. Hoarseness, C. Harshness, D. Nervousness. The correct answer is D. When a speaker is nervous, especially during an impromptu, extemporaneous, or memorized speech, he or she tends to speed up so as not to forget what he or she is saying or not to interrupt his or her train of thought. The problem with this is that when a single distraction comes in the way of the speaker, he or she can snap out of concentration and stutter or completely suffer from mental block. Okay, so we're on to the last 10 items. Number 41. A speaker has a difficulty producing the fricative sounds such as f and v, which makes him say pan instead of fan and ban instead of van. To remedy this, the speaker should work on his A. Phonation, B. Articulation, C. Vibration, or D. Respiration. The correct answer is B. Articulation. Articulation is the way of producing vowel and consonant sounds and joining them to form words. A speaker has a problem in articulation if his or her audience does not clearly understand the word that he or she says. All the other options pertain to the processes happening during articulation. Number 42. Daphne has a general knowledge and a very strong opinion about charter change that she can deliver a speech about it anytime she is asked to speak, even without notes. So, what is Daphne employing as a method of speech? A. Impromptu speaking, B. Manuscript speaking, C. Extemporaneous speaking, or D. Memorized speaking. The correct answer is A. An impromptu speech is delivered with little or no preparation. One can speak impromptu only if he or she has general knowledge or well-formed opinions about the subject. Number 43. When a speaker's vocal pitch changes, it is accompanied by A. Volume, B. Rate, C. Articulation, or D. Pronunciation. The correct answer is letter A. The correct answer is A because volume refers to the loudness or softness of the voice. This is controlled by the diaphragm. To speak loudly, one must increase the amount of the air released when speaking. Varying the volume of the voice can help keep the audience's attention. Changing volume can help call attention to important ideas. On the other hand, rate is the speed at which a speaker talks. The speech rate depends on the speed with which one moves his or her articulators and the pauses he or she makes between groups of sounds. Nervousness can make speakers increase the rate of speech. The ideal speed is slow enough to be understood by the listeners and fast enough to hold their attention. To complete the communication process, the receiver of the message must provide the sender A. Medium, B. Gesture, C. Feedback, D. Stimulus. The correct answer is C. Communication is a process where a sender encodes and imparts information via a channel or a medium to a receiver, who then decodes and provides the sender feedback. Feedback in oral communication is the response of the receiver to the message of the sender. Number 45. If the host delivers a speech after dinner to get the audience to relax, his type of speech is that of A. Occasional, B. Informative, C. Persuasive, or D. Explanatory. The correct answer is letter A. Occasional. Occasional or entertaining speeches aim to amuse the audience or to get them to relax and enjoy themselves. This kind of speech deals with the subject in a light-hearted manner. An example is an after-dinner speech that aims to make the guests feel relaxed after eating. Number 46. A blank sound is a combination of a stop and a fricative. A. Affricative, B. Plosive, C. Approximant, or D. Nasal. The correct answer is letter A. Affricative. The sound produced is a combination of a stop and a fricative. There is a complete closure in the vocal tract which blocks the airstream, and when the articulators part slowly, they produce friction. Number 47. The blank sound is produced with the back of the tongue against or near the velum or the soft palate. A. Affricative. B. Plosive. C. Approximant. Or D. Nasal. The correct answer is C. Approximant. It is the sound formed by the constriction of the vocal tract, but with no obstruction of the vocal tract, which means that the articulators have enough space between them to allow the airstream through with no audible friction. The following are fricative sounds, except A, V, B, C, D, T. The correct answer is D. T. It is an affricative sound. Number 49. Arena staging is sometimes called A. Acting in the round. B. Proscenium arc. C. Thrust. Or D. Extended staging. The correct answer is letter A. Arena stage. Arena staging is this type of stage that the audience surrounds the actors who occupy a center area called the central acting area. Therefore, arena staging is sometimes called acting in the round. And the following are front vowels except, so I will not read this one because you're supposed to look them up in the IPA or International Phonetic Alphabet. So the correct answer for this one is letter D. It is a back vowel, whereas the A, B, and C options are front vowels. Okay, so now we're done with the pre-test questions and answers. And there are other important matters that we must consider during the exam. But since the examination is nearing, all I can say to you is that you must let go and let God. I'm sure that immediately after your graduation, you have already prepared yourselves long before in this kind of situation wherein you're going to take the board exam. When I was your age, I'm working and studying and reviewing for the board exam all at the same time. So I feel kind of overwhelmed. But now, this is a different situation wherein we have the pandemic and you have to review, you have to study and prepare for the board examination. But if you have done well with your preparations and if you have a very straightforward mindset that you will reach your goal, then all you have to do is let go and let God. Let God do the rest because He knows what is best for you. So, to all of the test takers, especially you, the English majors, good luck and God bless to all of you. You only have two choices for the outcome of the examination. It's either you pass the let or you top the let. That would be all. Thank you very much and God bless to all of you.